Well, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday afternoon. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I talk about some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching, whether that is on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube or the 48 Now live stream, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Wednesday afternoon here with me. We have a lot to get into today, so I think it is about that time we start it off. And of course, starting things off in Marshall County, where a single vehicle crash this morning has sadly left a 13-year-old girl dead. Now, according to Marshall County Coroner Cody Nugent, a single vehicle wreck happened around 8 a.m. near Arlie Lacey Road and Blessing Road. Nugent said a 13-year-old female was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, officials say she was one of 4 occupants in the vehicle. State troopers are continuing to investigate this truly devastating situation. And 48 Savannah Sapp will have more details coming up in our evening newscast. And now a story in Huntsville where the Twin Peaks shooting suspect was recently released on bond. Jeremiah Matkins, who you are currently seeing on screen, is accused of shooting and killing 23-year-old Rayshawn Bates in an incident that took place inside Twin Peaks back on November 9th. Matkins was arrested on November 10th and charged with murder. He was originally booked into the Madison County Jail on a $50,000 bond, but court documents later revealed that Matkins' bond was then raised to $100,000. Court documents also state Matkins has a preliminary hearing set for December 4th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. at the Madison County Courthouse. But now I say let's turn over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis. All right, Brad, it looks like at least here in Huntsville, the rain has gone away, but the wind gusts remain, and I hear it's about to get chilly. How's it looking for the rest of this week?
Yeah, AJ, it's been a rather wet day at times. We still have some locally heavy rain, but out in the shoals, hey, it's sunny out there, so it's been completely different as you get east of I-65. I don't expect as much rain tomorrow. However, today didn't look that wet either. The models are really struggling, so we'll just leave it at that. We have a chance for rain tomorrow, but I think over the coming days, that chance shifts well west of us. But as you look at the shoals here, around 3:30 this afternoon, some sunshine out there. It's muggy, too. Warm and muggy, and it's been wet in some areas. Rain cooled here from Decatur up to Meridianville. Winchester definitely rain cooled at 68. Over the next 12 hours, our temperatures very much like last night. We kind of clear out the sky a little bit, some patchy fog in the morning with very light winds and temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Over the next 3 days, we're going to get close to 80 tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. I think the clouds and showers may keep us from that. And then it's still tricky as far as the forecast goes. Looking at Friday, models have been drying Friday out quite a bit lately, and right now it looks like we're probably going to see rain chances very late Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll keep you up to date on that on the next forecast at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Back to you, AJ.
Well, thank you, Brad. Now, UAH has reported multiple cases of whooping cough. They have popped up on campus. Officials are saying the school hasn't shared how many cases just yet, only saying a limited number of them have been identified on campus. Whooping cough, it's caused by a bacteria infecting the mouth, nose, and throat. It's spread through the air by coughing, and symptoms can appear 5 to 21 days after exposure. While most people don't suffer life-threatening complications, those with compromised immune systems and infants can. The university said it's taking precautions to prevent future infections, and the cases at UAH come amid a rise throughout the state. But now, here is a story, in case you missed it, out of Marshall County. A Grant man is now behind bars on human trafficking charges after a traffic stop Monday night. 48's Callie Neese with more details.
37-year-old Adam Ashley was arrested last night after investigators performed a traffic stop on Highway 431.
Initially, I got a case involving this subject back in, I believe it was July.
Theron Franks from the Marshall County Sheriff's Office has been looking into Ashley since July. Back in August, he was arrested on charges of transmitting obscene material to a child an electronic solicitation of a child. On Friday, a grand jury decided that there was enough evidence to charge Ashley with 2 counts of human trafficking. She says all these charges stem from one alleged victim.
So with the human trafficking, there's 2 counts on there, and the reason for 2 counts is because the 1 count is for a child under 16. The victim in this case is a 15-year-old victim, and the way it works with the human trafficking charges is kind of like, you know, a capital murder charge or something like that. Just due to that, he's going to have 2 counts because of the age of the victim and other details surrounding it that I can't get into at this moment.
Franks says it feels good to make this arrest after months of investigating. She has a message for anyone committing crimes against children.
We're going to come after you. You know, we're going to find you. And for all the other people that are still out there, you know, I have 10 more on my desk. I made an arrest, but there's still more to go, and we'll get you.
There is no word on when Ashley will appear in court next. For now, he sits in Marshall County Jail without bond. Reporting in Gunnersville, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
Well, thank you, Callie. Let's head over to Huntsville now, where 48's Noah Cowell was yesterday, checking out a brand new state-of-the-art forensics lab. Officials say the new facility will increase efficiency here in the Huntsville community. Check it out.
Alabama's newest state-of-the-art facility has several labs dedicated to DNA testing, drugs forensics testing, and autopsies. Department leaders say new equipment allows them to enhance their drug testing capabilities at a time when overdoses are continuing to mount.
We've impacted and conducted testing on over 2,000 fentanyl cases, and those numbers only continue to increase across the state, unfortunately.
I think anytime that we're able to enhance our criminal justice system, everybody benefits from that. And to the extent that we can enhance public safety, then Alabama itself is better off as a result of their work.
They say the sheer size of these labs will result in more autopsies and test results coming back faster, which benefits the criminal justice system and especially the victims and their families.
To be in those shoes and for them ever to have to wait on anything, but especially like the forensic science, they're not complete yet. That's such a terrible thing. So they're probably the greatest beneficiary.
This facility will allow us to deliver our test results in a more timely manner, thereby helping not just the families of loved ones who have been lost and become victims of violent crime, but also those who have been falsely accused.
The old lab will no longer have any affiliation with the forensics department. The state is currently looking to sell it. Reporting in Huntsville, Noah Cowell, 48 News, on your side.
Well, very nice. Looks like an awesome building, that is for sure. But now let's talk about school lunches. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is working to cut down the cost of school lunches for lower income families. Starting in 2027, students who are eligible for free or reduced price school meals will now not be charged processing fees. Although there's a limit on what low-income families can be charged for school lunches, those processing fees can certainly drive up the cost. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy earlier today spoke with Lawrence County School Superintendent John Brett Smith, who says the new program will help families and students across the board.
Anything that we can do to remove, not only as a school system, but as a state, anything that we can do to remove barriers to feed children, I think as a school system we're definitely in favor of. We want to make sure the kids are taken care of.
Thank you. And now in Fort Payne, where city leaders have now passed an ordinance to allow short-term rentals such as Vrbo and Airbnb. 48 Savannah Sapp with what the new ordinance means to property owners.
Say aye. Any opposed? Opposed. And the motion carries.
The Fort Payne City Council said yes to an ordinance that will help regulate short-term rentals such as Airbnbs. This specific ordinance pertains to neighborhoods with single-family homes or R1 zones. The ordinance has been a hot topic of discussion among the council for months after some residents raised concerns over these rentals popping up.
More traffic in certain neighborhoods, just not knowing who's going to be renting each short-term rental, just things like that.
David Smith, the city's code enforcement officer, helped draft the ordinance to be carried out. He says this is not a way to cast out those running the rentals, but an effort to make sure they are safe, clean, and free of nuisances. Council President Walter Watson spoke in favor of the ordinance, urging other city leaders to keep the protection of current homeowners a priority.
We definitely want to be sure that our inspections department, Mayor, make sure that these individuals are protected.
Now, on the other hand, Councilman John Smith voted no to the ordinance, saying there's not enough clear distinction as to how much opposition would be needed to keep a short-term rental out of a specific neighborhood. He also tells me he does not feel comfortable telling homeowners what they can and cannot do with their properties. Reporting in Fort Payne, Savannah Sapp, 48 News, on your side.
Well, thank you, Savannah. And now in state news, people living in rural Alabama are unlikely to find services for their mental health without coming across a plethora of barriers. Affordability, lack of transportation, and broadband access are what prevents Alabamians from seeking care. Monet Stevens with WSFA reports on what some agencies here in the Yellowhammer State are doing to help bridge the gap and improve mental health disparities in rural areas of the state.
Some Alabamians are willing to drive long distances and pay the price to get the care they need. But for others, it's not possible.
Some individuals are continuing to struggle to kind of get that care. Some of them have kind of learned some of those alternative pathways and alternative resources that they can utilize if needed.
Mental health experts in Alabama are trying to bridge the healthcare gap in multiple ways.
These individuals are actually going out into the community to address some of these acute crisis situations, meeting these individuals where they are, no matter where they are in the community.
Some areas provide wraparound services for patients needing additional help.
Being able to have an opportunity for those local rural primary health care facilities to have an integrated approach, I think would vastly improve what access is going to look like in those areas.
Since 2020, there has been an increase of telehealth services. Children's of Alabama is connecting providers with families with children facing behavioral issues through their program, Pediatric Access to Telehealth, also known as PASS.
It's all about helping providers in our state have access and information to be able to treat and serve patients, pediatric patients they have that have mental health or behavioral health concerns.
But telehealth may not work for people living in broadband deserts. That's why Vital developed an app called Connect Alabama. It provides information and services on behavioral health and substance use at your fingertips.
This particular app is a one-stop shop in your hands, free app to be able to access education and information on substance use, mental health, and prevention, access to helplines, hotlines, and crisis lines, as well as a full service directory that serves all 67 counties.
McIntosh says the app's best feature is that it can work anywhere, anytime, with or without internet access.
And most importantly, it works with and without data. So as long as you are in, a place that has Wi-Fi to be able to download the app, and you go to your home and the data's not there, or you run out of data on your phone for whatever reason, that back-end directory is still going to work and still get you that access.
No matter how you receive services, experts ensure the quality is never compromised.
We have to ensure that despite the fact that we may have less funds or resources or less access, that doesn't mean that the services that they do get when they get them are any less than.
Monet Stevens, WSFA 12 News, Montgomery.
Well, thank you, Monet. And now the space race. To put humans back on the moon and beyond, taking another step forward as SpaceX launched its most powerful rocket on a test flight yesterday. The round-trip journey designed to evaluate its safety and performance. NBC's Jesse Kirsch has the details.
This morning, another roaring SpaceX liftoff is in the books. The company launching Starship from South Texas Tuesday afternoon, propelled by its most powerful rocket.
Our ship is doing great so far.
The empty spacecraft pushed to the limit to see how it would do with challenges like successfully restarting its engines in space and repositioning itself before splashdown in the Indian Ocean.
What a great reorientation by Starship.
But unlike last month's eye-popping booster landing and catch,
We're no-go for tower catch.
SpaceX determined this time around the Super Heavy booster would not be able to return to the launch pad safely. The company diverting the booster to a water landing. Despite that, former NASA astronaut Leroy Chow says the test flight is still a success.
It's not a fail, it's just that they don't have it completely nailed down.
Watching Tuesday's launch from the ground, President-elect Donald Trump, next to SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, who has been tapped to co-lead a new department of government efficiency. Mr. Trump recently becoming a supporter of Musk's space ventures.
We want to reach Mars before the end of my term.
That mission to Mars, a years-long focus for Musk. But is that just science fiction or a glimpse into the future?
Starship and the Super Heavy booster have only been under development for about 10 years, and it's pretty amazing how far they've come.
Well, certainly a lot of innovation in the works, that is for sure. Well, Thanksgiving is next week, and one Huntsville nonprofit is ready to celebrate the community with free food this season. That's right, Village of Promise will host its annual One Table Huntsville event at Big Spring Park this upcoming Monday from 11:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. And today I got the chance to speak with Village of Promise CEO Dana Gillis for 48 Now, and Dana spoke about Monday's annual event and also shared what he's thankful for this Thanksgiving. Take a listen to what Dana had to say about One Table Huntsville.
Well, I think this event came up a number of years ago. This is our 6th year hosting. And basically it's an opportunity to bring the community together. A lot of meals around this time are focused on just one segment of the community, but we thought it was really important to bring together the entire community, and we didn't want to have an agenda for it. So it's just basically bringing everybody together, having a meal, and having conversations. Basically getting to know one another and to build a stronger sense of community.
Yes, sir. And I love how you mentioned community. Talk about just the importance of community, not just in Huntsville, but just nationwide, especially during this time.
Yeah, I think this year it's particularly important for us to get together and realize that no matter what your beliefs are from a religious standpoint, a political standpoint, we have more in common than things that actually separate us. And I think with One Table Huntsville, one of the things that we like to stress is this is one city, it's one community, and we want to come together around one table.
That's right. Well, awesome 48 Now interview with Dana today. You can watch that full interview on our website. Just head over to WAFF.com. You'll go to digital shows and then 48 Now. But now let's talk about another cool event coming soon in Huntsville. The 15th annual Lights Up Holiday Kickoff Show is coming to Bridge Street this Friday. That's right, this Friday, starting at 4:30 p.m. And yesterday I spoke with Bridge Street Marketing Director Haley Lowry about both the Holiday Kickoff Show and the nonprofit they are assisting, the Kids to Love Foundation. Take a listen to Haley, who spoke about all the special guests that will be at this Friday's festive light show for a good cause. And I hear that this year, kind of speaking of the kids, a few special guests will be making an appearance. Of course, that'll be Mr. Sprocket with the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and of course, the man himself, the Holly Jolly Saint Nick. Talk about the details for those two legends.
Yeah, so Sprocket was introduced at Lights Up 5 years ago. It was his big debut. So they consider Lights Up to be Sprocket's birthday. So we are going to celebrate Sprocket's birthday this year and sing happy birthday to him right before we light the tree. We also have tons of holiday characters coming out: Santa, Buddy the Elf, and the girls from Frozen. And also our sponsor this year is UNA and their Go for Gold campaign. they are bringing out some of their UNA mascots as well. So I think it's going to be super fun. Tons of characters for children and families to interact with throughout the entire event.
Yes, happy birthday, Sprocket, turning 5 years old. They grow up so fast, that is for sure. And then, of course, Santa Claus will be there, some UNA mascots that Haley mentioned there. So it's going to be a good time. You get to see the 45-foot tree get lit up there on Bridge Street for the very first time. There's also drop boxes outside of the Dick's Sporting Goods and at Bridge Street if you'd like to donate to the Kids to Love Foundation. But awesome event going on this Friday. It's a free event, so you're definitely not going to want to miss it. That is for sure. But now, as most kids retire their lemonade stands in the colder months, a little boy from Rhode Island is making the most of his unique setup. It's all to give back to a good cause. Sam Reed shows us something good.
At a home on Ferncrest Drive in East Providence, Christmas has come a little early.
We love Christmas. We're already all decorated for Christmas.
As the temps dip low, the Vieiras are hoping to help with that.
We wanted to do something different.
Which is why instead of hosting the classic lemonade stand in the summer, 4-year-old Brady is back at it.
Doing my hot chocolate stand.
With his second annual winterized one.
Thank you! You don't see many hot chocolate stands out there, so we thought it would be different and lure customers in.
Who am I going to give this to?
On Saturday from 12 until 3, people from all over came for a cup of cocoa.
The turnout this year has been extremely, well, way more than last year.
And while the hot treat hits the spot, the reason behind all of this is as sweet as the boy who's in charge.
But he doesn't have one.
Okay. Just ask Brady why he's doing this.
Because homeless people.
Funds from his fundraiser will be donated to the Hope and Faith Drive LLC. It'll help people struggling this holiday season.
He really is grasping the concept of what we're doing this year, and he knows why we're doing this.
And this is not just any stand. It's a top-of-the-line treat offering with a table of toppings and everything in between. Going above expectations, the Vieiras say, was important.
Our customers went the extra mile to support Brady, so that's why we did it.
What do you want?
There's no cost for a cup or a treat. Whatever donation was welcomed.
20s, 50s.
A lot.
Yeah.
And while Brady is extremely generous,
this is for free.
More than $2,000 was raised.
It's so special to us that they came out to support our son.
That more than triples the success of last year. But his parents say it's what Brady is learning at an early age that in return means the most to his family.
We want to teach Brady that kindness is our #1 priority. If we can ask him to be anything in this world, it's kind.
Such a sweet story there, and that is incredible. I wish I could be there to get me a cup of hot cocoa. That is for sure. Now I think it is about that time for the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. A story on the Athens Police Department collecting Christmas gifts for children impacted by Hurricane Helene. Another story you're just not going to want to miss, especially if you live out there in the Lawrence County area, where officials are improving how quickly deputies can respond to 911 calls. 48's Callie Neese will have more details on that. And finally, a new safe haven baby box coming to the city of Fayetteville, Tennessee. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And I just got this in my email. If you are a McDonald's fan, if you're a McRib fan at McDonald's, for one, the McRib will be returning to McDonald's next month. Jugs of sauce will also be available for purchase. I believe starting on December 3rd, the McRib will come back. So exciting news if you are a fan of that popular item. A rare popular item at McDonald's. But yes, that is the breaking news of the day. But I think right now it is about that time for, you guessed it, Facebook fun. I know you've all been waiting for it. Our 48 Facebook question of the day: if you could only have one season year-round, what would it be? For me, I think, honestly, I love summer. Summer is great. Spring is great. Honestly, I think my favorite season, a season I could have year-round, would, of course, be the fall, especially the month of October. I always say it, October is it feels like the center of a crisp apple. I say it all the time. So I think it would be fall, particularly the month of October fall. But what I want to know is what you all had to say. And let's see, Sharon, she said fall, love the cozy weather. That is right, Sharon. It is the center of a crisp apple. The cozy weather, it is nice. It's sweater weather. You can go outside with a sweater on, or honestly, you could have shorts on and still feel relatively comfortable. It's just the cozy weather, the apple cider, the pumpkin spice stuff. It's just the general vibes of the fall on top of the weather. You gotta love it. Sharon, thank you so much for commenting. Laura said, I only like late spring, though early summer in Alabama, so I'd like it to be like April, May, or June. Yeah, early summer, late spring, that is kind of the sweet spot before it gets too hot with the humidity here in Alabama. The humidity here does not joke around, that is for sure. Laura, I feel that 100%, and things are starting to bloom, or they're already, especially in April, they're starting to bloom. And then May and June, it's just such a pretty time. The weather's super nice. Do not blame you for that, Laura. Thank you for commenting. Clyde said, I love the season of Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, Clyde, you are certainly in luck because it is just about that time. Clyde, I feel you on that. Just the season of giving. That's what it is. Thank you so much for commenting. Jones said spring without tornadoes and allergies, of course. Yes, that is kind of the bad part of the spring. The cons of the spring, a lot of pros, but still there are a few cons, and that would be the tornadoes and the allergies. But overall, I would say it's a pretty good month. Thank you so much for commenting. And then Angela, when it gets dark at 8 p.m. and in the 60s, and I don't know how often that occurs, Angela, but I 100% agree with that comment. If it could stay dark until 8 and then stay in the 60s, that would just be the ideal weather. I want to say like maybe March, possibly March, April would be kind of the sweet spot. If that were to happen, that would be when it would happen. Certainly not this time of the year. I haven't checked outside. Is it already dark? Because it just gets so dark so early here, especially when we switch back to standard time. But Angela, thank you so much for commenting. And that is just about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. But I want to thank you all for sticking around with me and watching a bit of Before the Four on your Wednesday afternoon. Of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and the 48 Sports Zone app. Turn on those push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking news story. And with that said, that's all for today. But of course, as always, thank you for watching. You all have a great night.